regular notice requirement of the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act has been complied with and that adequate advance notice of this meeting was given at least 48 hours in advance. On June 18, 2019, notice was mailed to the Courier Post and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Notice was also posted on a bulletin board located by the reception desk at the central office in the school building bulletin boards within the district. Roll call, please.
When I call your name, please say present. Teresa Atwood, Catherine Blackshear, Wasim Mohammed,
Present.
Nanam D. Nelson,
Present.
Carmen Otero, Andrew Tolliver, Martha Wilson.
Present.
Thank you.
I would now turn it over to the board secretary.
The board will now go into closed session to discuss the following matters, student-related matters, and we'll be in for approximately 20 minutes. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Motion to go into close.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion was made to go into closed session by Minister Wasim Mohammed and second by Nanam D. Nelson. The board will go into closed session for approximately 20 minutes, and we will return at 5:55. Okay. We are now at a closed session. Do I have a motion to come out of closed session?
Motion to come out of closed.
Second.
Second.
A motion was made to come out of closed session by Ms. Martha Wilson and second by Mr. Wasim Mohammed. All in favor? Any opposed? We are now officially out of closed session.
Thank you, Anissa. At this time, we'll go down to the front, and I'll present the superintendent's report. All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight at our advisory board member meeting. The first thing that we will do before we move forward with any business is to pause, again, unfortunately, and take a moment of silence to reflect on a life lost way too young. Thank you. Thank you for helping me to honor the life of Stephen Conquest, a Woodrow Wilson High School SOAR Academy student who we lost since our last time meeting together. So as you know, since launching the strategic plan, we have been focusing each of our board meetings on each area of the strategic plan and providing updates in the areas of accelerating student achievement, ensuring a great teacher in every classroom, leveraging all valuable resources to ensure 21st century schools built for success, and last and most importantly, putting students first. So under priority 1, accelerating student achievement, we have some wonderful, wonderful news to share. I'd like to acknowledge 5 of our high school students who have received the Seal of Biliteracy. By achieving the Seal of Biliteracy, students demonstrate that they are able to speak, read, listen, and write in 2 or more languages at a high level of proficiency. The Seal of Biliteracy was an initiative started by Californians together in 2008 to acknowledge and award hardworking bilingual and multilingual students. New Jersey became the 15th state in January 2016 to implement a statewide Seal of Biliteracy. Congratulations to our students, and at this time, I'd like to welcome Erica Okafor to come to acknowledge our students in this area. Let's give Erica a round of applause. She heads up our bilingual programs in the district.
Good evening. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to recognize the following students. As I say your name, if you would please come up and receive your certificate. Our first recipient is Natalie Irene.
Congratulations. We're so proud of you. We're going to get a picture. Mrs. Wilson, our board president, our board member wants a picture as well.
Our next recipient is Valerie Irene.
Let's come on, Erica. Let's do it like this. Let's come up. Let's get a picture. We're just getting it together. Thank you. I think we have it now. Here we go. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
We have Louis DeFrank Gillian. His father is accepting his award on his behalf. Our next recipient is Angel Rosado Davila. And Yareli Suero is not able to be with us tonight, but we will make sure that she gets her certificate as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica, and you can stay with me. You can stay with me, so you don't have to go back and forth. We also want to acknowledge the students who are on the screen here: Louis DeFrank, Gillian, Ramiele Rodriguez, Yadalis Sueño, Juan Hernandez Tapia. These individuals from Woodrow Wilson High School were recently recognized and received the Meritorious Student Award from the Consulate of the Dominican Republic, General Consul Carlos Castillo. So do you want to say something about that experience?
Myself and Ms. Abreu de Jesus, we accompanied the students, and it was such a wonderful event. Out of 500 students, we had our 4 students that were recognized, and it was an awesome experience for our students. There were 4 states represented, and I'm so proud of them. So let's give them a hand.
You can go now. Okay. You can go. Thank you so much for all of your hard work, Erica, as well, and for our parents, for all that you do to pour into our young people. Thank you so much. So summer is upon us, and summer school programming, we wanted to just share some highlights and overviews. Information has already gone home to our families, but we wanted to make sure that we were able to record this information for our Channel 19 viewers, as well as our YouTube page, in order to ensure everyone is getting the information about the summer program offerings. So really quickly, we're excited to share about some of our summer programs for this year. Rising K-8 Summer Enrichment Program focuses on academics and much more. Students will have the opportunity to participate in literacy, math, and STEM activities in the morning, then select clubs of their choice in the afternoons. Those clubs include, but are not limited to, theater, dance, robotics, cooking, and sports. The summer program promotes student growth and achievement while providing a positive environment for students. Our theme is inclusiveness. And in the afternoons, all clubs are all inclusive with students from all 3 programs together. Our special education program, bilingual, and our general education programming. Our high school students will also have an opportunity to engage in credit recovery and course enrichment. Please check out the district website for more details under the section listed for families. In addition, our school-based youth services program staff will be hands-on facilitating life skills, social and emotional wellness, and promoting academic strategies for success in our designated summer program. For our youngest learners, the Office of Early Childhood will be partnering with Catapult Learning to provide summer programming for incoming, returning, and existing pre-K students. That will be held at the Early Childhood Development Center at 1602 Pine Street from July 1st through Friday, August 9th, from 7:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock p.m. A safe place for our young people to continue to learn over the summer and to just be able to have a joyful time during the summer. Again, that information is on our website. Moving on to priority 2, a great teacher in every classroom. We'd like to thank South Jersey Federal Credit Union for surprising our 2019 Teacher and Educational Support Professional of the Year with gift cards. Congratulations to Camden Big Picture Learning Academy's very own Miss Alyssa Wilds, H.B. Wilson, Miss Lynn Atkins, and Camden High School, Mr. Richard Wilder, who were excellent representatives and who were selected district-wide to highlight that area. So we are so very thankful to our partners for helping us to acknowledge the dedication and hard work of our staff members. Continuing along the same vein with priority 2, a great teacher in every classroom, the district has met its goal to expand the academic parent-teacher teams across the district and 90% of elementary and family schools. This model of family engagement is grounded in the notion that schools can thrive when families and teachers work together as genuine partners to maximize student learning inside and outside the classroom. The model is research-based and aligns grade-level learning concepts, student performance data, and family-teacher communication and collaboration. I want to thank our teachers and families for working together to ensure families can support student learning at home. Our plan for the upcoming school year is to implement academic parent-teacher teams, or APTT, as our school support team and our deputy refers to them, in all of our family and elementary schools across the district. So we're at 90%. We don't have very far to go, and we know that this will help to enhance that connection between home and school and the partnership for learning. Priority 3, safe schools built for 21st century success. We have a few highlights to share with you. Number 1, the Camden High School groundbreaking occurred last week. The SDA recently hosted an intimate groundbreaking ceremony with community members from the planning committee, as well as elected officials and some selected school district administrative staff. It was a monumental day for us to break ground for the new Camden High School building. We are on track for opening the new school in fall 2021. And if you ride by, you can see the evidence of the progress that is being made toward reaching that target date. Since safety regulations limited the number of attendees, we look forward to a larger celebration in the future. So there will be a celebration, and we will get the timeline from the SDA where we will be able to have a topping off ceremony, and it will be able we will be able to accommodate a much larger number of individuals because we will be at a different stage of construction. So again, we want to make sure that we acknowledge that there was a limitation on the number of individuals who could be present. There were hard hats that were administered, and if you didn't have a hard hat which was administered by the SDA, you weren't able to go onto the grounds, and they capped the number of people for safety reasons and regulation reasons for building. But we're looking forward to the next celebration of the milestone of building completion. Summer projects, we want to just give you a quick update of some of the work that will be going on in our buildings this summer to make sure that we are ready for our students in September. There are a number of facilities projects planned for this summer, both great and small. To name just a few, you will recall that the SDA is supporting the district to complete Phase 3 of the Forest Hill roof replacement, as well as the heating portion of their HVAC system. The SDA will also be working at Hatch School, which houses our Camden High students, to make significant repairs to the roof at that location. Environmental remediation of underground storage tanks will also take place at our maintenance warehouse in compliance with the Department of Environmental Protection. Additional projects include district-wide fence repairs, boiler cleaning and inspections, and the completion of our Energy Savings Improvement Program audit, otherwise known as ESIP. In upcoming meetings, there will be more exciting news to share about how this audit may leverage capital improvements to our schools at no cost to the district. And another highlight, our Network Operations Center, MOVE. So our Networks Operations Center is the central location of the district's technology servers, which make possible everything from telephone services to interactive instructional tools across the entire district. Our NOC is currently located at the Riggs Renaissance Center, and for many reasons needs to be moved to its new location in the maintenance warehouse, out of which our technology team currently operates. This is a complex move that will take an entire year to finish. Phase 1 of this move is already complete, with the repair of the roof over this valuable and critical district asset. Following phases will take place throughout the coming school year, but they will be planned in such a way as to not interrupt the important work of our Camden scholars. We will continue to keep you updated on the progress of those projects. So moving forward to priority 4, putting students first. I wanted to just share with everyone some changes with regard to our reorganization meeting and the timelines as a result of the referendum that was passed for the residents of the city of Camden to be able to elect school board members. Because of that shift, there is a shift also in when our reorganization meetings occur. So each year since state intervention, the district has held its reorg meeting on May 16th. Today, we want to just update you on the change to this process now that we are considered a Type 2 school district. So post the recent November referendum, the district is now a Type 2 district. This means that all advisory board members will be elected to the board rather than appointed by the mayor. After the November election, the newly elected advisory board members will officially be sworn into office during the reorganization meeting in January. We're looking forward to this process as it is the first significant step in preparing for local control. As an update for the 2 current vacancies, the county superintendent has appointed 2 individuals to the vacant seats. However, these appointments are pending final clearance of their background checks. As soon as these checks are completed and final, we will announce the names at our next board meeting. So along the same lines of putting students first, we wanted to provide you with an update on our comprehensive equity plan. We wanted to let you all know that each school district is required to submit a 3-year comprehensive equity plan for approval and review by the County Office of Education. For this school year, the plans were due by June 15th. However, the district has been granted a 30-day extension. We've requested this extension to ensure we are being thoughtful in our responses and our plan. We are on target to submit a plan for approval by July 14th. Once we have submitted and received an approval from the county, we will share out the results of the plan at the appropriate board meeting. Putting students first. So I share the same goal as every parent in this city, and we all do. We're here together. We collectively are very concerned about our young people. A great education for our students. Since joining the district as a teacher in 1991, I have been focused on doing whatever I can to dramatically improve our district schools, classrooms, whatever area I was working in, and that is something that is also shared with many of my colleagues who are in the district. Our students will not have the opportunity to achieve greatness, as we all want them to, if we fail to provide them and their teachers with the resources for a world-class education. I know we have to keep the programs that are seeing results, like our reading interventionists, our iReady programs, our after-school programs, and putting students first means that we are putting every dollar we can into improving academic achievement. So I'm not saying anything I haven't said before, but what I'm doing is underscoring this so that we know we are still standing on this solid ground and moving forward. When there is a building that is in need of so much investment that fixing it will take funds out of the classroom, or as our buildings are under-enrolled without change, we are always thinking about what's best for students and what we need to do to really make sure that we're using every dime that we have widely. So we can close the achievement gap in our city, but we can't do it unless we continue to advocate for resources. So what I am saying, simply put, is that we will continue to advocate for the resources that are needed in our district to run the buildings that we have so that we are able to provide the best outcomes for our students in our traditional public schools. And so as we close this school year out, I'm hopeful about the year ahead. I am sincerely hopeful about the year ahead. There is much work to be done to increase our the academic outcomes of our traditional schools, to increase making sure that our buildings are in the best possible quality. However, there are lessons from this year that we will learn from and use to help guide our planning and decision making. I am hopeful that together, as a community, we will stand together, continue to stand, to make decisions that drive toward educational excellence. So I'm just recommitting to making sure that you know that it is my desire that we are working together collaboratively to do what it is that is in the best interest of our young people, to make sure they have the very, very best that we can offer. And so if that means advocating with the commissioner, advocating with the governor, jointly advocating with many groups in order to get what we need, that is exactly the direction that we will continue to move forward in. We're excited about many new partnerships that we hope to be able to share outcomes with you at future board meetings that will help us to find innovative ways to meet the needs of our students and in our district, even facing the fiscal strains that we do. But again, together, we are so much better together. And so we will continue to let you know where we stand in each of our areas that are important to academic achievement, environment, the building our students are being educated in, and their instructors that are in front of them, the PD that we provide. We'll just give you that information so you're aware of it, but we will continue to advocate for the best for our students. So that takes us to the next slide, putting students first. We had the opportunity to share at a town hall last week in a different setting than this one, the news that was shared at our budget meeting prior to that, that vets will remain open. So since this is the first board meeting, since that decision was publicly put out there, I just wanted to make sure I underscore that and that we have it on the record. So I believe everyone has heard this announcement over the last week. However, again, as I shared, we want to make sure to take this opportunity during our board meeting to share again. For the 2019-20 school year, Veterans Memorial Family School will remain open. All grade levels, pre-K through 8th grade, will remain. There will be no changes to the academic programming at VETS this year. We have received close to $4.5 million from SDA for repairs. And we are very grateful to the Commissioner for keeping his word and supporting us as we advocated with the SDA for funds. So we know that we shared with you that there were $14 million worth of repairs that are needed at VETS. This $4.5 million that we've received over the past 2 weeks will allow us to be able to work on the exterior walls, the roof, the windows, and some interior repairs and exterior site work. We're trying to just make sure that the building is safe from any moisture getting in that could turn into mold or anything else that's hazardous for breathing and air quality. So we are very excited. That news is great because even though we needed $14 million, we got $4.5, and we're still advocating, as I shared before, to ensure that we get what's needed to fully move forward with the repairs there. And so, again, I wanted to share that over the course of this next year, the upcoming year, we will focus on targeted stakeholder engagement so that we can prepare our long-term plan for our schools in the district moving forward. And so we look forward to sharing more information with you about that, and it will be an exciting time, and we want your voices to be a part of that conversation. Again, with priority 4, putting students first, CREAM, investing in students first, opening the Early Childhood Development Center at CREAM in Centerville. For the 1920 school year, we will continue as an early childhood facility for pre-K in the Centerville neighborhood as RT CREAM Early Childhood Center. So we're converting, as we shared before. No plans have been changed there. As we work together on long-term planning for the city, we will explore adding additional grades at a time, beginning at pre-K, then K, then 1, then 2, then 3, as we look at the enrollment to determine how many grades to add at a time. As always, we will monitor our fiscal sustainability and, as I shared, the enrollment needs as they grow in that neighborhood. So we're very excited. Our team is ready. I saw our early childhood team today in action as they presented at the School Leader PD that was spearheaded and run by our Deputy Superintendent and School Support. They are excited. They are ready. And we are looking forward to being able to offer high-quality early childhood education at the Roletta T. CREAM Early Childhood Center in Centerville. Moving further with putting students first, investing in our students, a dual language academy in East Camden. We will continue moving forward with the plan to create a dual language academy at Kramer. Kramer already has a K-5 biliteracy program designed specifically for our students whose first language is Spanish. And we will use the next school year to plan so that all students are taught in a biliteracy framework, regardless of their native language. So again, going back to the seal of biliteracy that we're so proud of our young people for having earned, this will set up our students at an earlier age to be in a position to gain that seal once they graduate high school, making them more marketable, and which is what we want to do, give our students, equip them with every opportunity to succeed. And so we're looking forward to the further development of Kramer in that area. Our budget priority, our fourth priority, putting students first. I'm going to just give you a quick update on the budget for those of you who may not have been able to make the budget presentation that was held a couple weeks ago at our administration building. It has been a long journey this year, and I know we all know that, wading through a challenging budget. However, we have an approved budget that was shared earlier this month. However, to ensure we are able to sustain the opening of vets and the operation of the district as a whole for the upcoming year, we are applying for additional aid from the state. And I believe I shared this already. The state commissioner has committed to supporting us as we apply for the additional funding. I'm confident that we will receive this additional funding because we will work together to make sure that we get what our students need in this city. I have been working alongside the state and county teams to ensure the district is set for success. So we look forward to further collaboration in order to make sure that we're able to gain the resources that are needed for the students in our city. The next slide, along the same lines of putting students first, is regarding Camden enrollment. In full transparency, I wanted to acknowledge that in the board report today, we are renewing the Camden enrollment contract for 1 additional year. I know there has been much feedback that I have received, and there is much opportunity for development with Camden enrollment, including its leadership, the funding model, and how it provides a common application to the city. By renewing it for 1 year at a reduced cost, we were able to negotiate the cost down. It will provide the board, of which I am a member, with time to revisit the vision, the cost structure, and the approach for the future of Camden enrollment to ensure that it is a fair system and that we are working out any kinks that may have come up in the initial few years of implementation of the system. The Commissioner and the Office of Charters will be providing oversight, support, and meetings to ensure that the enrollment system is fair for all parties involved in implementation and funding. To be clear, in assessing our budget status, I have always advocated for the Camden enrollment system to be a shared cost, where the district doesn't bear the burden of the cost for Camden enrollment, but that all sectors who utilize Camden enrollment are paying in on a prorated basis. I have been clear that I don't believe the district should shoulder the cost of Camden enrollment. We have been advised to allow 1 additional year to refine the system. And so, again, you will see that in the board report, but I just wanted to give a little bit of explanation around that because I have received feedback, I have received input. We are working on making sure that we are doing what we can to refine because we have to account to those who are higher than us for this in the state office. So, again, we will keep you updated. We will keep you informed on that process. Quickly, SWAG, summer programs, one other working program that we didn't share. So our Camden City School District students working to access greatness. SWAG program is a 5-week summer youth employment program for Camden City middle and high school students. SWAG's mission is to provide Camden City students with a meaningful summer experience that will successfully prepare them for future employment. Student employment is a partnership that benefits both you and your school community. We consider this program to be an investment in our students, especially as we continue to develop and explore opportunities for student success. Summer student employment has several advantages, such as work experience, training, career exposure, and last but not least, financial rewards. During orientation, students will develop and enhance personal and professional skills, responsibility, habits, attitudes, and self-confidence that will contribute to future success. These are all the reasons we invite your scholars to apply now. Completed applications must be returned to your school's FOC by this Friday, June 28th. More information about this program is also available on the district's website under the section for students. And this information has gone out already. Again, I just wanted to recap it at this time, but there's still time for students who want to be employed in our SWAG program to participate. Get the apps in by this Friday. And also, as we prepare for our young people to be away from school in the summer, The Summer Meals Program was established to ensure a continuation of free, nutritious meals for children and a way to support parents by reducing the family's food budget during the summer months. So from June 24th through August 9th at select schools, and I believe this information is also provided on our website, parents, families can have their students to get a summer meal. I remember when I was growing up at Cooper's Point, we used to love, we used to have the peanut butter, there was no jelly on it, sandwiches, but they were really, really good. And in the summer, we look forward to it. And so it's a fun time, but it's just another place to get a snack, another place to get a meal, so we can ensure all our young people are fed even over the summer. All summer feeding sites are open to all children 18 years of age or younger. We have flyers with this information available in the back. Please take one as a reminder. And last but not least, our district highlights, graduation. Last week was an awesome week, Friday. We celebrated our graduations at all 5 high schools. We got through them all in one day, and it was a wonderful, wonderful day. As always, graduations are a highlight to the school year. They symbolize the culmination of all the hard work our students have put in during the school year, and also culminating all of their academic work from the earlier grades on. Congratulations to all of our graduates. We're wishing you all the very best in your future endeavors, and each and every graduation was absolutely outstanding. We highlighted remarkable graduates also since our last board meeting. And each year, for the past several years, we've taken the time to specially recognize students who have endured very difficult and challenging circumstances, but have come out on the side of victory. They have beat the odds. Congratulations to all of our remarkable grads for 2019. They received scholarships, they received a laptop, they received mentoring. And so this is a wonderful way for us to help to ensure we're continuing to support our young people to and through college. And this was another highlight. Nelson Aguilar was at H.B. Wilson. Yes, at H.B. Wilson. Our Camden City School District K-8 students spent all school year building strong reading muscles. Students were able to celebrate all of their hard work at a luncheon hosted by Nelson Aguilar and PDQ. They received their certificates and prizes for being the top students in the district. We want to thank Nelson Aguilar, PDQ, Jeff Thomas, H.B. Wilson, and the Office of School Support for a successful event honoring our students. And it was indeed, Dr. Fletcher represented, and it was awesome. The report that I got was so wonderful. So we hope to keep these partnerships alive as we support student reading growth. The Clarence B. Institute for Social Advocacy Youth Summit at Rowan University was an awesome day as well. The Camden City School District, in partnership with Rowan University, Palmyra School District, and the Clarence B. Jones Institute for Social Advocacy, hosted the Dr. Clarence B. Jones I Dream Youth Leadership Summit for 100 students from Camden and Palmyra School. Students attended workshops on goal setting, vision casting, and mindfulness. Dr. Jones, civil rights advocate, personal counsel, advisor, and draft speechwriter for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., empowers communities and social advocacy through thought, word, and action. As a district, we wanted to send a message of hope, love, and peace to our students while enhancing the leadership capacity that they possess. And Ms. Valerie Still, who also is a Camden has her roots in Camden, a Camden native, and also played professional basketball, was so instrumental in bringing this together. And so we really thank Valerie Still for her hard work and advocacy as well. Woodrow Wilson High School gets new laptops. Woodrow Wilson gets over $1 million in computers. So over $1 million of computers were given to our students at Woodrow Wilson High School. The new computers were provided by the United States General Services Administration as part of their Computers for Learning program. The goal is to give students the technology and tools they need to succeed in their educational journey. and we were just rolling because then we had a STEAM fair. The 2019 STEAM fair was a huge success with its theme, Water in My Life. Students in grades 6 through 12 were challenged to study a problem involving water in their community. Students produced high-level projects such as a water app that timed how long a shower should be taken to save water, and 2, how a floating garden grows fresh fruits and vegetables in New Jersey all year long in the Delaware River. Students were supported by the attendance of local officials such as Mayor Moran, Freeholder Rodriguez, community businesses including American Water, Subaru of America, PBCIP, and Siemens joined in supporting our young scientists, and local community members and many district staff members lent a helping hand as well. Our district STEAM fair is evidence that something good comes out of Camden, lots of good comes out of Camden, and our students made us all so very proud. It was a wonderful event, and we will close our highlights there and return to the stage where we will acknowledge our retirees. Thank you so much for your attention.
At this time, we will ask Mr. Minister Wasim if he would read the retirees.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. And on behalf of the Camden City Advisory Board, Board President Ms. Catherine Blackshear, and the rest of the board member, we would like to read these names of these wonderful individuals who are retiring. Sandra Anderson, 31 years. Carmen Cooper, 30 years. May Chandler, 30 years. Patricia, the reflection. Patricia, I can't see, Futch, 33 years. Janet Ingram White, 33 years. Can't see it. Mariam Jennings, 24 years. Cynthia Mayham, 26 years. Eddie McCrae, Jr., 22 years. Noem Padilla, 25 years. Karen Perla, 13 years. Joseph Pritchard, 14 years. Rosa Sereno, 28 years. Danelle Still, 18 years. Carol Cooper, 15 years. Charles Lewis, 25 years. Harriet Rivera, 27 years. And Yolanda Williams, 3 years. On behalf of the Camden City School District and superintendent staff, we wish all of them a wonderful retirement and thank them for the service that they have given our community for the past years, and we really appreciate them. We congratulate them. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Wasim. At this time, I'd like to ask our board members if you have any questions or comments regarding the presentation.
In reference to the Camden enrollment and the extension for 1 year, the question would be, because the questions have been asked in the public, I just need to get the information. Is there any other administrators from any of the schools in the district, in the Camden School District, a part of the Camden enrollment?
Yes, Mrs. Wilson. The Camden Enrollment Board is made up of 2 representatives from each sector, so 2 Renaissance School representatives, 2 traditional charter school representatives, and 2 members from the traditional public school system. So the 2 members who are on the board the board for Camden Enrollment are myself and Dr. Fletcher by virtue of our positions as superintendent and deputy superintendent.
Thank you very much for making that clear for us. I do want to say thank you for a lot of the things that are on this month's board minutes, because there are a lot of good things taking place, being put back in our district on behalf of the district for our children. So I just wanted to say that. We have another set. I did write it out in the old set, but just to let you know, we're proud of the things that I see coming forward.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Any other questions?
Not a question, but a comment. I just want to congratulate all of our graduating seniors from our high schools and magnet schools here in the city of Camden, as well as those who are in all schools in the city of Camden, that we thank them for their diligence and pray and hope that they come back as they move on, whether it's through college or careers, that they continue to help to make their community a safe and great place to live. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Minister Wasim. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to our council for the public comment portion.
Thank you. The Camden City School District welcomes the attendance and comments from all members of the public at its meetings. The public comment period is your time to be heard on the agenda items in the meeting. This is not a time to engage in a dialogue with the board, but it is your time to present your comments to the board and the state superintendent. Each person who signed up to comment will have 3 minutes. You will be notified when your 3 minutes are up. They should be posted on the wall. If not, we'll let you know when your 3 minutes are up. You cannot yield your time to another person. When it is your turn to speak, please remain at the podium and address all of your comments to council or to the superintendent. Please be courteous to your fellow community members and keep your comments within the time frame allotted so that everyone has the opportunity to speak. At the end of the 3 minutes, the microphone will be cut off. Please conduct yourself in a respectful and courteous manner. The First Amendment is not absolute, meaning that the board can prohibit language that is inappropriate. So for anyone whose comments or actions either harass, intimidate, or threaten the safety of any person, we will provide you with a warning or immediately end your comment time. In addition, if you curse, use vulgar language, or make personal attacks, we will provide you with a warning or end your comment time. We will not interrupt you during your 3 minutes of comments unless we deem it necessary. If a member of the public speaks about a staff member, interruption is necessary to caution him or her of the danger of slander. Members of the audience should also not interrupt the speaker at the podium. If you have any questions, please ask your questions during your 3-minute comment period. After the comment period is closed, the superintendent or her designee will address your questions to the extent provided by law. So we will begin with number 1, Amir Khan, followed by number 2, Carmen Cooper. Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, I want to say great report today, Superintendent and Board. It was great to hear all that great news was happening here in the district. With that being said, I do have a few concerns in reference to the resolutions that the Board's getting ready to vote on or to pass. And obviously, I just briefly went through this just now, and there were just 3 or 4 concerns. I probably could have found a lot more by just going through the resolution, but obviously these are professional service agreements awarded without any competitive bid. These are no bid contracts or agreements that are giving, and I'm looking at 4 of them that are directly related to George Norcross and companies that are under investigation. And my question will be why. Let me just give a couple of these. We're getting ready to vote on $400,000 to Brown and Connery. That's George Norcross's personal attorney. Awarding a contract to the firm where the partner is Bill Tambusi, that's his personal attorney, who's actually suing the governor. This firm that we're getting ready to award $400,000 to is literally suing the governor of New Jersey and who's over the SDA, who's giving us the money. So I feel that's definitely a conflict of interest and a conflict for our city here in the city of Camden. Another one's Parker McKay. We're getting ready to give $100,000 to Parker McKay, where the CEO of Parker McKay is George Norcross's brother, Phil Norcross. Special counsel appointment of Parker McKay completely turns a blind eye on the big fat pink elephant that's in the room, the investigation by the EDA task force into the firm's self-dealing and manipulation of tax credits. You know, this organization has subpoenas that were served. There's ongoing investigations, and we're just ignoring it. But yet we're giving them $100,000 to them. And these are just a few of them I picked out. Here's another one. Florio, Perucci, Fader, and Capelli. Lou Capelli, he's the freeholder director. He's literally the partner there. This is Lou's protection contract. He directly benefits from this contract. This is George's partner. We're giving $300,000 there. Here's one more. I'll just give one more. Bowman and Company. That's George's auditors. We're giving $250,000 there. City of Camden violation, okay? These are the ones that right here in the city of Camden, many of you might remember that they got, there was a violation for pay to play. They're paying out money. I think 9 of their partners each gave $1,000 each a week before a contract was awarded. They were kicked out of Camden. Now they're coming back, but we're giving $250,000 to Bowman and Company. It's literally $1 million just by me briefly going through this, going to George Norcross's companies alone. So my question is, how can we, with clear conscience, give over $1 million, just what I was able to see, to firms that are under investigation? How is the board able to sit back and say they're not being influenced by George Norcross or his minions when this whole investigation about EDA and George Norcross, you can't pick up a paper or watch TV without understanding it, but yet we're giving all these contracts to their companies, the same companies that are under investigation.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Your time is up. You were timing it. 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Lastly, I would say that there is responsibility that the board has, fiduciary responsibility. So my question would be, board members, speak up. We cannot allow over $1 million just in a brief time I looked at it going out to these companies that are under investigation. Please speak up for Camden. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I do this real quick? Can you come back to the podium, please, Reverend Khan? If you could identify which resolution numbers, that way we can quickly find them. If not, it's no problem.
I have them right here. I have them right here.
That would be helpful to expedite time.
Okay. Page 51 of 98, resolution number 426, 18 and 19, number 27 on that page. That's $250,000 going to Bowman and Associates. Same page, number 28, number 427, $400,000 going to Brown and Connery. If you turn the next page, number 29, there is $300,000 going to Florio's firm, where Lou Capelli is the director there, and he's a partner there. The next page, which is page 53 of 98, resolution number 30, number 429, 18 and 19, $100,000 going to Parker McKay, where George Norcross's brother heads that up. And those are only 4 that I was able to look at real quickly, let alone go through 98 pages of.
Thank you, Reverend Khan. We appreciate you sharing those with us.
Thank you.
And we'll address them in public comment. You're welcome.
Number 2, Carmen Cooper. And then Sarah Jocelyn.
Good evening. This is really a reflection over my past 30 plus years. So with all due respect, if I go over 3 minutes, allow me more. In 1988, I was excited to become a part of the then Camden City Board of Education as a single mother of 2 adorable daughters who were fortunate to attend the school I served, Forest Hill, under the great leadership of Principal Anita Louise Ricks, affectionately known as Aunt Nita. It was there that my everlasting impression of strength, determination, and dedication of such a wealth of admirable educators in the class, in and out the classroom, that impacted my love for children and their educational goals. The joy of coming to work to help inspire our future doctors, nurses, athletes, and a host of other respected professions was my fuel to become an advocate for the children. However, in these latter years, I became more attentive to the injustices of our people. As I reflect over the past 5 years or so, I found myself in a dark and gloomy space that was clearly unfavorable of my passion to serve this district with care, experience, commitment, and love for the community I serve, Parkside. Ultimately, I came to share that I'm retiring to know that nor I nor my colleagues were not valued by the Camden City School District. Believe it or not, across this land, it is known as the most disrespected profession in this country. I reflect of a time when your HIB leaders would slither such words, and I quote, "We didn't have any problems until you came. Y'all need to retire so we can hire some fresh new blood. I need to have full control. Got to get rid of y'all toxic people." In addition to other subliminal thoughts from the leaders who should embrace and concede all indifferences and to be accountable to the New Jersey Statute Administrative Code of Ethics under this 18A. How disappointing it is to realize that you have all silenced these issues, which means you have accepted the demoralizing behaviors of your current leaders that continue and to support those whose conducts, which evidently impacts the quality A1 service by our support staff, teachers, and other educators. That in turn impacts the children we serve. I'm so grateful for my pastor teaching, who instilled in me, baby girl, stay oily, and don't allow the negativity to penetrate your godly duties to the students and the community. I leave all to know that I may not be with the school district any longer. However, my ultimate goal is to continue to serve and seek any injustice displayed by those who have been neutralized by the people who oppress mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Jocelyn?
Thank you. Thank you for that very thorough report that you gave. I had a few follow-up questions. You spoke about the summer program, and of course, I'm going to remind you that I would hope that you're going to write a report about the summer program. One, do we have a preliminary enrollment of how many students are being able to participate? Then the second question is related to books for summer reading. That was not mentioned. Were the pre-K to 5th grades this year again given books to take home for the summer? This is an important issue. Today at the freeholders meeting, Melinda Kane, who is the new freeholder in charge of the libraries, spoke about the importance of the forgiveness of fines. She had people tell her, "Oh, I'm so glad you did that. I'm able to use the library again." I had not thought of the fines as being a limit to access to the library. And so I again remind you of the importance of providing reading materials for students, and that the libraries that are in the schools have even greater importance to me that we would be able to circulate books through them. What will be happening to the library at the Cream School? What is the plan? I see that you have put in your approval for the plan for addressing the financial issues is one of the resolutions. What is the status of CUSAC for that follow-up of the review of the action plan? When is that to be done? And what is the timeline for us getting a report back? Thank you for sharing that we have an extension for the equity report till next month. I did want to ask you about your diversity numbers. That I'm sure you will be reviewing that in there. I point out that in the paper, and I have not explored this, I see that there is some concern in the Trenton School District of the question of segregation because of doing a bilingual education. I just think that that's something you should think about. I'm not saying it's an issue here. I'm not saying it's a real issue, but I'm saying that you should consider whether that is an issue that needs to be addressed and considered in your equity plan. I thank you for sharing about the school buildings. Did we have flooding issues in any of our buildings in this last week? I think that's an important thing to understand. I appreciate that there were opportunities for a youth summit. I have not heard that the mayor's youth summit has been scheduled yet. We should have an opportunity for the voice of the youth, of the children in Camden to have opportunity to speak and share. One opportunity might be the Sustainable Development Goals and a climate summit such as will be in the United Nations in New York in September. So please consider that as an opportunity. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Johnson.
you. Sean Brown, and then Tawana Jones.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Hello. First, I want to say just congratulations to Katrina and her team for completing a full school year with under your leadership. My youngest son just graduated from kindergarten at ECDC. I was on my way to maybe the fourth meeting in a week, about 3 or 4 months ago, the day I picked my youngest son Evan's report card up from ECDC. And his report card was good, but it wasn't great. And the things that weren't great, I realized could be better if I was home more in the evenings when he's home from school and being the best parent that I can be. So for the next couple of weeks, I had some meeting schedule. I canceled them, said, I got to be home more. I be home more with my son because his behavior is better at school. He has less attention-seeking behavior both at home and school when his dad is home in those evenings between 5 and the time he goes to bed around 8 or 8:30. And I saw immediate improvement, and then I got his report card last week, and I saw that. I wish I could tell you the letters because it's like, but you all use like M's and M pluses and stuff, so I can't. I'll talk to Marquita about that later. But anyway. I say that to say, as some of you may have seen in this room, I did an interview with Katrina that's on the internet. And the last question I asked was, what should we be talking about as a community, as activists, as people that care about children that we don't? And I think that what Pastor Khan said earlier and a lot of the talk that I hear in general are things that are important. But I know for things as me as an individual, where I don't necessarily have a lot of money, I don't necessarily have a lot of access, even though I know people, I have to limit myself within the power of what I can do as a parent, as a community individual who is not necessarily working within our larger team of organized, funded people, to put my power, my voice, my relationships, my ideas, the push to make things better in the most important place. So where that ties into what, Madam Superintendent, what you said in that interview was that the focus for all of us has to be on us as parents, focusing on, first, I have to focus on myself as a person, I have to focus on myself as a partner, and then I have to focus on myself as a parent with my children. And I know Brother Wasim Muhammad, Brother Nelson are not preachers necessarily. Well, you're a preacher, but you preach this message, not in a preachy way. And I want to reiterate that the politics matters, but we can't separate Camden from politics no matter how messy it is because of the nature of our city. But what matters more is how we use our own time and attention to make sure we're getting the best results from our children by reading to them and pushing to them the academic results that matter. So I was glad to see that in your presentation. I'm glad to see the work that Ms. Henson is doing, and I encourage for it to continue. Look at that.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Brown.
you. Thank you. Tawanda Jones? Okay. Keith Benson?
Good evening, folks.
Good evening, Dr. Benson.
Yeah. So I guess I don't have anything written or prepared, just some sort of random thoughts. It's been, I think, 3 months since we were able to come up here and share our thoughts. And a lot's transpired over the course of 3 months, and I've experienced in my position some really low, frustrating lows and some really high, happy highs. And I think that sort of encapsulate where, really where I am and where a lot of our educators are at this point. And if you just think about what happened and how far we've, how much ground we've covered over the course of, I think, March to today, that we really saved educational institutions that will far outlast us. So think about VETS, for instance. VETS has been around for 85 years. And VETS was targeted to be closed. But collectively, we were able to move some things and do whatever we had to do. And collectively, we saved that building. And it's likely that that building will last and serve that community far beyond our days and our positions. The plan for Cream to grow, when I passed Branch Village, and you see Branch Village coming back, and the idea that Cream can grow along with that community is really an amazing thing if you look big picture at what was done over the course of the last couple of months. And some things are bigger than us, and that's one of those things, is that these institutions are here, they were here before we got here, and they will be here and then when we leave, and I really think that's a beautiful thing. So that's one thing. So for that, I'm really, really thankful to have some part in it, and everyone, a lot of folks, contributed, their efforts and their expertise. So I'm just happy to be, a part of that move. Aside from that, I had to discuss the Camden enrollment thing. Well, I do understand why Camden enrollment is here, and I do understand certain decisions are made above us. I'm aware of that, and I respect it, I understand that. I don't like it, but I understand it. Having said that, I'm going to say my position about Camden enrollment has not changed. Camden enrollment is ran by a bunch of crooks who try and exist to pull kids out of our public school system and even the charter school system and put them into Renaissance schools. Why do I know this? If you simply look at who funds Renaissance school and expansion, they're the same people who fund Camden enrollment. And that's how their numbers were able to, along with forced school closures, that's how their numbers were able to be inflated while other sectors, public and charter, enrollment dipped. I want to underscore that, and I want to say that every opportunity I get, and hopefully we have a plan where public school parents, or parents that want to send their kids to public schools, can go directly to the schools and register and enroll there. But having said all that, I'm feeling really excited about what the year projects, and I'm just happy to see things, and I'm really willing to work for the best interest of our schools, however way I can.
Thanks
for our meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Benson. Kelly Francis.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members. Kelly Francis here. I wanted to speak about our AXO program last meeting, but unfortunately the meeting was adjourned before the public session. But I want to report to the public and to the board, we had another successful year. This is our 16th year that we have offered the program to the Camden City School District, sponsored by the National NAACP. We had 42 students who enrolled initially to participate in the program, and we competed at the state level up in, I believe it was Franklin High School in Somerset, and our students won 23 awards during the statewide competition. And we had 6 gold medalists, and of course, the gold medalists will now be eligible to participate at the national competition, and we will be taking them to Detroit, Michigan next month, and they will be competing against high school students, grades 9 to 12, from 47 states and the District of Columbia. So our students will represent the city, the county, and the state of New Jersey next month. We had 11 seniors this year who graduated from our program. Some of them were in the program for the entire 4-year high school experience. And the 11 students, all 11, will be going to college or university. And they will be going from the West Coast to the East Coast, North, Boston, South, Virginia, South Carolina, and Utah. One of our seniors is even going to Utah. So We are very proud of those students. It's been a joy, rewarding for me to be working with them. And I want to show my appreciation to all of the mentors who work with the students, help them with their projects and their performances, and the teachers and the administrators and community members, their parents. So I want to give my appreciation to all of those who made these students successful. And like I say, this is, it'll be in Detroit, our national competitions. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Janelle McRae.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janelle McRae of Camden, New Jersey. I'm here for a few reasons. First and foremost, in the 90s, I had the opportunity to be a part of an organization with Sharon Shields, and it's been brought to my attention recently that school-based youth services is no longer a part of the Camden district, and it's a sad day because there are so many opportunities that students were able to benefit from what school-based provided to them, and to know that these opportunities may not be afforded to them any longer is disheartening. In addition, it was brought to my attention that we have some teachers who are performing in inappropriate behaviors. Someone brought a picture to me that was very concerning, with a teacher laying on pillows in between two students. And to know that this kind of behavior is taking place inside of our school buildings is a little baffling, because they say don't let your good be evil spoken of. And to see something like this, especially in a day of a Me Too movement, our young men don't need to be put in this kind of position because of the ignorance of an adult female. In addition, my last thing is, as a CTE advocate, it's very disheartening when you hear CTE teachers in the school district very conflicted about whether or not to stay, because their concerns about budgeting and supplies is not being heard effectively, yet they see the Perkins funding going into various directions that do not include the direct effect inside the classroom. And they're spending out of their own personal funding year after year, and have informed administration that they can no longer do that. And administration within that school building has yet to address whether or not they'll be able to have supplies in order to teach the first quarter of the school year. These are concerns that are happening within our school district. And, you know, as a community member, when we do not open the school year with the proper supply or effective personnel, we are setting ourselves up for failure. And we're not setting ourselves up for failure, but we're setting our children up for failure, and they're our most valuable asset. So these are some concerns that are in the community that I think, if you have not been addressed, they have been addressed to you at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment. I will turn it over to the State Superintendent.
Thank you. I will go in order and try to fully address the questions that were brought up. I want to thank you for staying and for asking such thoughtful questions. I always appreciate them, even if I don't always have the opportunity or the presence of mind to say it. I appreciate every single question that comes forward, because it helps us to be able to think. It helps us to be able to reflect. It helps us to be able to go right back to the drawing board, because we know we have not reached a status of perfection. So I do want to just open up by saying that I definitely appreciate your questions. So Pastor Khan was our first speaker. Is Pastor Khan still here? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I see you now. Pastor Khan was our first speaker, and you shared information, your concerns about some of the contracts that you saw listed in the board report, as this is a time of year where we renew many of our contracts before July 1, so they're ready to go into effect for the upcoming year. So just want to briefly provide a response there. The district follows New Jersey public contract law and appoints contracts fairly according to New Jersey statutes and regulations. We do not exclude firms because of their perceived political connections, but rather on the services they provide. Contracts are often renewed as no bid because of the type of services that are performed. I receive your question in the spirit in which it was given, and I hope this response doesn't seem dismissive because it's not. I'm just sharing specifically with you the statute and code that governs our behavior and our decision-making with regard to contracts. But thank you for raising your concerns with us, and I'm sure this will be something that we continue to have conversation about. Ms. Cooper, thank you so very much for your question, for your comments, and for the time that you've devoted and committed to our district. We're sorry, I am sorry, truly, that your last few years have been difficult, citing some of the examples that you shared. But I do sincerely thank you for your tireless service to our students and the district as a whole. And I know, and I'm glad, I know you'll never stop fighting. I know that because you graduated from Camden High, so you don't know how to do anything except fight for our young people. But I do wish you the best retirement, and I know that you will always continue to advocate for our students. So look forward to different ways we can connect, even though you may not be employed by the district, to continue to do what's best for our young people. Thank you, and may you have blessings in your retirement. Ms. Jocelyn, you raised a few questions, just a few. You raised a few questions for us. You always keep us on our toes, so thank you. So I'll try to hit each of them in as much detail as I possibly can, and I'll lean on Deputy Fletcher for support as well. So we are continuing to accept summer enrollment, and we will update enrollment numbers very soon. We do have a plan for monitoring the attendance throughout the summer and making sure that we're doing everything possible to maximize that attendance as well. So I'll just pause there. Anything else on the summer attendance piece? And then I'll go to the next one. If not, no worries.
Our summer programs, especially the ones noted that will be at HB and Caddo, are inclusive programs. They usually are well attended. Our EYS programs are held there. Our bilingual students also are serviced there, in addition to any of the students who are just interested in participating in the program. But we can update the board and also you just individually, because we have a contact that way, on exactly how many students we have at this time. And we do anticipate a rolling kind of admissions as well.
Books.
You also asked about the books, and so yes, we have summer books that have already gone home with our students, and reading logs. And there's a little bit of a competition this year as well to just increase the participation, and that students who meet their goal and bring back their reading log will get a free dinner from PDQ. So we're continuing our partnership there, and so we do anticipate that not only do the books that we sent home, we sent home 3 books with each of our K-5 students. So not only will those books get read, but the anticipated goals will be met of 30 minutes of reading each day, because there's a great incentive on the way back to return it back to school.
Thanks, Dr. Fletcher. And Ms. Jocelyn, I want to go back to the enrollment question that you had, just to add a little bit more information. About 150 students can be enrolled in the ESY, and 500 for our summer enrichment program, and 200 in our pre-K program. So that's the number of slots. Right, that's a total number of slots that we have budgeted for to be able to utilize in our program. So again, 150 for our extended school year for special ed, 500 for our enrichment program and 200 for our pre-K program at ECDC. And we want to make sure that every single slot is filled with one of our young people. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Also, Ms. Jocelyn, I don't know if you mentioned pre-K in your question, but I just mentioned K to 5. We also have a program, a literacy program for our pre-K students, just to keep you updated. And so all of our pre-K students received a summer literacy backpack, which contains storybooks, journals, writing tools such as crayons and colored pencils, and lots of enrichment activities. So we just want to continue that development as well. We have a lot of great reading data to share with you shortly. And so we're very interested in continuing what literacy looks like in the summer months. And students, I think, are eager for that too, because they have built up some stamina around reading. And so I think they're just as eager as we are. And the Cream School Library will continue to,
Yeah, please do.
the Cream School Library will continue to be available to our students and families. We use it more in a maybe non-traditional way of maybe what you've maybe experienced, in that we use it as almost like a research lab. And so classrooms come down to the library. A lot of individual small group support is also done in the library. So we do absolutely anticipate to continue using it in that way. And our classrooms also, in addition to what's available in the library, they also regularly utilize their home lending library systems that are inside of the classroom as well. And so this allows us to expand upon the opportunities to support literacy at home and school. And our libraries inside of our schools support those initiatives.
Thank you, Dr. Fletcher. With regard to diversity, and diversity in hiring, we are committed to hire professionals who share the background of our students. That is built into our strategic plan as well. To this end, we have done a few things. One, recruited at a local historically black college and university. And two, we've posted advertisements to attract members of the bilingual teacher communities. We are currently refining our bilingual teacher campaign to even figure out more innovative ways and strategies in collaboration with our institutions of higher education and other outlets to attract bilingual teachers into our program. And so with our comprehensive equity plan, though, we are definitely doing a deeper dive into some of these areas to see how we can continue to refine. And thank you for all of your input and any guidance and suggestions you can give us moving forward. Flooding, you asked a great question. We've had lots and lots and lots of rain over the past, this seems like it's been forever, but we recently had limited issues with flooding, mainly with water infiltration through windows that were mistakenly left open and other minor issues throughout the district. But there have been no floods on the scale of those we've seen in the past, which significantly impacted our schools and in the past caused our students to lose instructional time. So we're very pleased with our custodial staff and our teams working together under the leadership of our Director of Facilities, Scott Crisanda, in order to be as proactive as we possibly can in these areas. Mr. Brown, you talked a lot about parent participation, and thank you for highlighting and sharing and being transparent with your own personal experience being a parent of a student in our district. We know that the first teachers of our students are us. We are our children's first teachers as parents. I have two children, an 18-year-old who just graduated from high school last week, and I have a 16-year-old. So I know that the importance of being our children's first teacher. So I encourage all of our parents to attend the academic parent-teacher teams at their school sites. As was shared in the presentation, the academic parent-teacher teams provide different ways to view our parent-teacher conferences and different opportunities to partner and really explore and dig deep into what is necessary to continue to develop our students to their highest potential and capacity. So we look forward to continued partnership and guidance and just thought partnership and how we can continue to make sure that our parents feel welcome in our buildings and that we are also doing everything possible to show them that we want them to be our partners in learning. Mr. Kelly Francis, thank you so much for consistently standing as an advocate to publicly recognize the many students of our schools. You provide our students with such rich opportunities through the AXO program. You've done it for years and years and years. And if you can imagine just how many young people's lives you have touched because you've been that conduit for them to be able to have these wonderful, rich, extracurricular and experiences outside of what they may have had otherwise. So thank you so much. We will continue to honor and celebrate them and you, and please let us know what we can do to make sure that the programs continue to move forward. But as a superintendent, I definitely appreciate it, and I know on behalf of the advisory board, we all thank you for the seeds that you're sowing into our young people and the confidence you're giving them to know that they too can aspire and achieve at any university that they desire, but that they have the access and the ability. And so we just need to make sure they're prepared. So thank you so very much. School-based youth services. Oh, Ms. McCray. Where are you, Ms. McCray? She went to go talk to Andrea. Oh, okay. Hey, hi, Ms. McCray. How you doing? Wanted to make sure you were here so we can address your question. So you had a concern about school-based youth services, and I think you may have been getting some clarification in the hallway around this from Andrea Omatri, our director. School-based youth services is not completely eliminated from the district. However, we will be phasing out the high school program in Camden High and one middle school program. And that is based on, it's not based on our desire at all. We have fought, but that's based on decisions made by the Commissioner of the Division of Children and Families, the DCF. And so I'm sure you got more details from Andrea. We will, however, be opening 2 new school-based youth services programs, one at Dudley and one at H.B. Wilson. Camden High will have external support. Even though they're not going to have that school-based program, they'll have external support through the Promise Neighborhood Grant under the auspices of the Center for Family Services, who have a wealth of resources and mental health supports that we already partner with that organization to provide. So what we're trying to do is just creatively fill in the gaps as funding changes, politics shifts, and all of that. We just want to make sure we keep our young people covered and find those innovative ways. So thank you for raising those concerns. You also shared some concerns about supplies and materials for teachers, especially CTE teachers, as I know that was that's your area of expertise. And we hear you loud and clear and agree 100% that our teachers need to have all materials available to them at the beginning of the year. So we are, as you have heard, are working diligently to ensure that any budget deficit won't impact our students. We've done everything that we possibly can to make sure that the impact of any budget issues is not going to be felt by our students. But we definitely hear your feedback. I'm sure Dr. Fletcher will be able to take that back to her high school team, talk to our lead there in the CTE area, just to make sure that we have a true picture and understanding of what our CTE teachers need so that we can make sure that we can address that need through Perkins funding and other areas as well. But thank you again for advocating for the CTE instructors. Couple more. I think I left off a few people. Dr. Benson, are you still here? No. Okay. I want to thank you for it. It'll be on the record, or you'll let them know, and I'll let them know myself. I want to thank you for the reminder about collectively coming together to make sure that we are pushing and pulling on each other to make sure we're getting the very best to our young people. And as I have shared with Dr. Benson privately, I appreciate his advocacy 100%. We have conversations about approaches and tone and all of that, but at the end of the day, I know his heart is in the right place. And so I want to thank you for your commitment to continue positive, collaborative partnership on behalf of our young people. Thank you for your comments regarding Camden enrollment. That conversation, I know, will continue. And you mentioned students being able to go to their district schools to enroll in Camden enrollment. I'm sorry, to enroll or register for the next school year. That's something that already is in place. If a parent wants to just stay at their neighborhood school, they can just go right to their school, their neighborhood school, and enroll there. That has not changed even with the advent of Camden enrollment. So we just want to make sure that there's clarity then around that so we can make sure we're on the same page. I think I missed, I believe I captured everyone. Okay, that I captured everyone. Again, thank you. Sorry, questions for board members? Mrs. Wilson?
Question in reference to the closing of the class at Camden High School, and what was the other school?
Hold 1 second.
BPLA?
BPLA Middle.
Middle.
Yes, I'm sorry. BPLA Middle
Okay.
was the other one.
All right, and can I ask for the documentation that took us in that direction for the board, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Dr. Fletcher, if you can make sure Ms. O'Matry, and also, I think the business administrator may have that information too, but the letter that we got directly from the Division of Children and Families. Ms. O'Matry, if you can make sure that we have that information so the board members can have it. You can share that. That's fine. Yep, you can share it.
Just for a little more context, and Ms. Almitri is back there and can do a much better job of explaining it, but the changes in the direction of funding had a lot to do with enrollment, and school-based youth services is intended to, per the grant, to service a certain age group. And so not only do you need the number of students that they're looking for in the grant, you also need that number of students to exist within the grade level. And so given changes in enrollment at Camden High and BPLA Middle, it led them to pull the grant, but we do have plans for reconfiguring and rethinking about how we can get that grant when the new Camden High comes online.
Okay, and is there something from the Department of Education that takes us in that direction?
Yes, I'm going to
Yes,
ask Ms. O'Matry, if you don't mind, Dr. Fletcher, I'll ask Ms. O'Matry to also just come to the podium really quick. The only reason I'm doing this has nothing to do, I know you covered all the areas, Dr. Fletcher, but this is a sensitive area in our community, as it is for me. And so I want Ms. O'Matry to be able to just, and you know, we all know that Ms. O'Matry does an awesome job with our school-based youth services program, and she has done so even when she was under Ms. Sharon Shields. So I want to just make sure, since this is a very sensitive topic, that we are very transparent, and Mrs. Wilson is requesting the documentation. We will make sure that we get it to her, but in brief, if you can concisely just share a little bit that would shed some light on this.
So I would like to begin that we received notification last year. I would like to begin that we received notification last year about the desire for the Division of Children and Families to close the program. And once we were notified, Ms. McCombs went into active advocacy and began to write letters to the Department of Education, the Division of Children and Families, along with myself and some others, to secure the funding. They did award us the opportunity to continue in operation for the 2018-19 school year, but said that June 30th would end and we would transition. They did do a RFP, which allowed us to go after the dollars, but with the understanding of enrollment and the understanding of our enrollment process, the numbers, and looking across the board, we realized that we needed to partner with an agency to be able to complement some of the grade levels that were not covered by our grant. And so we did reach out, and in partnership, because Center for Family Services was going after this funding as well, we decided to partner with them. As a result, we did secure funding for HB Wilson. So HB Wilson will be a new school-based youth services program, again targeting middle school population. We are able to transition some other funding that we had to open up Dudley family school program there that was comparable to numbers of enrollment for our middle school population. So, again, as Ms. McCombs has shared, once the Camden High School building is up and in operation, we tend to go out and look and see if there's an opportunity for us to receive funding. This funding is awarded by DCF, which is also in conjunction with whatever the governor supports. So we're hoping that as leadership changes and transitions, that this advocacy for these dollars will also remain in a good position with Camden City School District. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time explaining that, and thank you, Ms. McCombs, for the transparency.
Thank you very much, Ms. O'Matry. I'm sorry?
Ms. Jocelyn asked the question.
I don't think.
I'm not allowed to do that? Okay, cool.
You can address her question, but just you can address it with her.
Okay,
because
excellent.
At this
Thank
time,
you.
it's the board member's time. That's all. That's all. Thank you. Dr. Fletcher?
Ms. Wilson, I also just wanted to add that given that information that we had received, the Department of School Support has done a lot of work to equip our teachers, our school leaders, our FOCs, our OMs, our LDTCs with trauma training. And so that has happened since February 2019, and it has been pretty consistent up until this point. Tomorrow, there is a full day for our school leaders to participate in a self-care workshop, trauma-informed care, and psychological first aid.
Thank you.
Questions from any other board members?
Yes. So for the community, I know there's been a couple questions over the last week or two, pretty much about board members and their engagement and, being quiet, I guess, during the board meetings. So I just want to kind of share, how board members, or at least how we are engaged and some of the things that's done, because I guess if it's not heard, then, people sometimes think nothing is being done. So, anybody who reaches out to the board members, whether it be by email or phone, those things are going directly to the superintendent and her administration. There are questions that's being asked, so you might not see it on stage, but if we have any questions or concerns, those things are being asked. Today I went and met with, on behalf of the board, the CEA president, because we want to build, partnerships and collaboration, visiting schools, hearing what's going on in the schools. I'm not saying that all the time, that the results that you want to receive is results that you get, but any concerns or issues that are brought to us are given to the superintendent and her administration. If there's anybody that can say that they address board members and that they don't get some type of feedback, please hold us accountable. Please get back to us. But it's real important that you understand that we are accessible and that you can reach out to us. Please don't assume that we know the information, because there's a lot of things that we don't know and we're not aware of. Education is everything. And I can say, for myself, and I'm pretty sure the other board members can agree, that we don't know everything. Some of the things that, I definitely want to work on, and I believe we as a team, as parent engagement, as well as different funding opportunities to support the superintendent and her administration. But if we're going to change what's been going on for a period of time, it's not going to happen overnight. And I agree that it's going to take collective efforts. But, it's not an objective to get up here to pat ourselves on the back or get up here and say, hey, this is what I've done in the last week. But I can say, whether it be by email or in person, I personally have, at least 1 or 2 conversations a week with the Board of Ed and their administration. And it depends on pretty much what's coming to the table or what issues have been brought to our attention. So just wanted to kind of share that, because I know there have been some questions of the board members not asking a lot of questions during a board meeting. So that may not always be the case during a board meeting, but there's a lot of things that's spoken about when they're presented. We don't just wait until the monthly meetings. So if you have any suggestions on different ways that maybe you want to receive information, I think you probably should have some conversations with any of us up here, and we may be able to better explain or answer those questions. So thank you, and please continue to work. Please continue to advocate. And we are a team, and we do support you, the community. Thank you.
And maybe you should table those items until you look at it a little further.
Yes, good. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Superintendent and the rest of the board member. I just want to start off by echoing and horsey-backing off of what Brother Namdi Nelson was saying, because if you understand, being a board member, a part of our facility during the board meeting is to sit here and listen to the community and what the community have to say and bringing up issues. However, when issues are not brought to us ahead of time, as Brother Nam said, that we are accessible in the community. We all have exchanged numbers. We talk to each other on a frequent basis, so that we can keep abreast on what's going on and keep everybody educated to what's going on. But also, I just want another comment about the work you talked about earlier, Superintendent, with Camden High School. Just want to congratulate the community and everyone about the construction of new Camden High School. Although I'm with the parents and the community having the avenue to be able to choose, when it comes to different educational paradigms. But however, when it comes to Camden High School, we breed purple and the gold. And we're very excited about that Camden High School remaining there, being built and remaining Camden High School, without all of the naysaying, that the community can see that it's moving forward and it's continuing to move forward. And we appreciate that. And I want to thank the rest of the board members too as well, for the work that they do. I know the work that we do, stand late hours along with the school district that we, employees that we have, as we would like to say, just unbelievable respect for the hours, the amount of hours they put in extra to make sure that our community needs are met, and the which you all do to fight for the rights and a great education for our children. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you.
Thank you, Minister Wasim. If there are no other comments from the board members, I'd like to turn the meeting over at this time to the board secretary to present the business office agenda items.
At this time, I'd like to present the business office agenda items for approval. They include the bill list and the resolutions. Are there any questions from the advisory board members?
Yes, I personally would like to look at some of the things that Pastor Khan spoke about, just to kind of check into those things and just get some feedback.
Amen. Praise the Lord.
No, I kept that one up just for you. Just for you.
Oh, yes, of course, absolutely. As I shared in my response in the public comments, we will be taking a look at all of those items, but I'll share that again. My apologies, I misunderstood something. Yes, we will take a look at those items again, in addition to what I already shared in response. And is there anything else, Mr. Nelson? I didn't want to cut you off.
No.
Okay, anyone else? No, that means we're going to pull those items and look at them. Yes, we will pull those items, and then we will review them before moving forward. You're welcome.
At this time, I call for an adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Before we adjourn, I would just like to say to our business administrator,
Not yet.
congratulations on your certification for being the business administrator here in the city of Camden.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Okay, at this time, I'd like to present the business office agenda items, which include the bill lists and the resolutions with the exceptions of Resolution 27, 28, 29, and 30.
Thank you very much. In keeping, in accordance with the powers vested in the State District Superintendent under Title 18A, I hereby approve today's superintendent's agenda items and business office agenda items as outlined by our business administrator.
At this time, I call for a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? A motion to adjourn was made by Ms. Martha Wilson and second by Mr. Wasim Mohammed. As I call your name, please say present. Teresa Atwood, Catherine Blackshear, Nanam D. Nelson,
Present.
Carmen Otero, Andrew Tolliver, Wasim Mohammed,
Present.
Martha Wilson. All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.